Hello and welcome to Bottomless Coffee. My name is Jerome Evans, and on this show, we have conversations with people who are making a positive impact on the world around them. We believe that we are capable of great things, that we are all better off when we are working together, and that all starts with talking with each other. Today, we are talking with Teto Wilson of Wilson Image Barbers and Styles and Kelly Robinson of Messianic Care about how their passion for helping their community has led to a long-running and very successful COVID-19 vaccination campaign. Now, since this is Bottomless Coffee, you know we're going to get into all the details. But first, let's do some introductions. Hello, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for this conversation. Teto, can you tell us a little bit about the shop and the community?
So Wilson's Image Barbers and Stylists is a barber shop that is located now at 2126 West Broadway Avenue. And I've been in business for myself for 14 years. Prior to coming into Minneapolis, I worked at a barber shop in Brooklyn Park. Typical barber shop. They didn't do a lot of like community stuff, the type of stuff that I think is necessary for barbershops. I really feel like barbershop is kind of like I look at it, at least my barbershop, and I know a few others. I look at a barbershop as kind of like a place, almost can be like a community resource hub.
I can tell that you live by that too, because I Googled you. That's my research. I Googled. And in some cases, some of your community work ranked even above your business.
Wow.
So I know there's a scholarship and there's some other work as well. Can you tell us just a little bit about what you're doing in the community?
Yep. So as far as the scholarship is concerned, I started that back in 2018. My daughter was entering her first year of college. And, I kind of watched how she applied for, various scholarships. Some she got, some she didn't get.
Sure.
And a lot of, scholarships, the person or group or organization that creates the scholarships, they set the criteria.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So some of the criteria can be biased.
Sure.
And, so she applied, like I said, some she got, some she didn't. I didn't worry about it because whatever she didn't get, I'd be able to fill in that gap for her. But I thought about a lot of the families in North Minneapolis that may not have, the financial capabilities. And so it literally just $1,000 grants. $1,000 is not gonna take you through college, but it sure can help out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It can be the difference in for some families it can be the difference in books or dinner. You know what I mean? So, that's the reason why I started the scholarship. Just to be able to give back to some of the families in North Minneapolis that have been supporting my business, since I've been open.
That's fantastic. And I have a suspicion that type of thinking, there's going to be a theme throughout this whole conversation about you thinking that way. But we're going to find out. Kelly, thank you so much for being here. Hi. Can you tell us a little bit about Messianic Care and the association that you're here representing, Black Nurses Rock?
Yes. So Black Nurses Rock is a national organization, and it's been in existence since 2014. I became a member in 2016, and I realized that, this could be a great opportunity for the nurses here in Minnesota. So a couple of other nurses and myself decided we would start a chapter. And so in 2020, we were finally there, and now we have a chapter.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Messianic Care was born out of the midst of the pandemic.
Sure.
Because we were trying to find out what can we do. We wanted to be impactful. We wanted to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
And initially when I looked at what we were doing once testing came about, there was no presence of Black nurses.
No presence?
No presence, very few,
Wow.
let's say. So I went to New Salem, where they were doing testing, which is in the prime of North Minneapolis. And, and I know that because this was immediate, that they just grasped what they could. which was traveling nurses,
Sure.
but they weren't nurses of color.
Okay, and that makes a big difference, and I know we're going
does.
to talk about that a little bit later in the conversation. But one thing I want to make sure that I express to you and to all of the healthcare workers out there, thank you so much for the incredibly long hours that you're putting in, for the hard work, for the emotional labor that this takes. Very, very grateful. Now, working together, Black Nurses Rock and Wilson's Image has accomplished something really special. You've got a vaccination campaign running out of the parking lot, I believe, of Wilson's Image. Can we speak a little bit to the accomplishments of what you've done? I want to just take this moment to celebrate. Kelly first.
Yeah, sure. So we are actually, we've been honored to have the support of the Minnesota Department of Health. And so along with UCare and the Steer Step Foundation. So collaboratively, they've been supporting the efforts by providing a bus. So we have a mobile unit that's parked on the street just in front of the barbershop.
Okay.
And we also use the space inside the barbershop because not everybody wants to go on the bus. You know,
Sure.
we capture the people that are actually in the shop.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's created a very nice space. We've kind of converted what was considered the bar to a vaccination station, and then the waiting area is like where everybody's having the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, so on Fridays and Saturdays we have a physician on site, actually two, Dr. Zeke McKinney, who is primarily the spearhead of this part of the project, and it is under the Biden Project, so it's a national involvement. Yeah.
Now, Teto, I'm hearing that you maybe no longer have a bar in the barber shop.
Right.
How has this experience been for you, and how did you come to it?
So, you know, how we came to it, she just mentioned Dr. Zeke McKinney. He and myself started, you know, so back in 2021, last year. So we were forced to shut down the barbershop for, I don't know, maybe about 2 months or whatever. And so Zeke, you know, walks into the barbershop and, you know, had never met Zeke before. And, you know, we weren't taking it as serious as we should, you know. He walked in and, you know, see his guys in there, you know, kind of hanging out. No, actually 2020, I'm skipping forward a year.
Everyone kind of lost a year.
Yeah, I'm forgetting.
I know, it's like a blur.
I'm forgetting we're at 2022. So I'm sorry, summer of 2020.
Okay.
Summer of 2020 when COVID was, you know, just just learning about it. But anyhow, he comes to the shop. You know, I never met him before, and he comes in. It's like, why aren't you guys? You know, all you guys should have your mask on, and not only should you guys have your mask on, but all your customers should be coming in here with masks. You know, a few of us had on masks, some didn't. Customers kind of, you know, doing what we're doing. And, you know, he kind of, you know, he made me think more seriously about COVID. You know what I mean? I hadn't had any experiences then with COVID. I didn't know anybody that had gotten sick.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't know anybody who had died from it. So my attitude towards it was kind of like, yeah, it's here, but, you know, is it really here? You know what I mean? So, you know, him and myself, we became closer over the months. And, you know, we did now 2021, we did a documentary. He and myself, Kelly was involved, a lot of other doctors and nurses, you know, that we eventually met. We got involved in that, and we talked about COVID. And I still was reluctant. You know, the vaccines were new; they hadn't really got out, you know, widespread or whatever. And after that, we did like a town hall in the shop. So now we're like COVID, you know, and the vaccine is becoming something that we're talking about on a regular basis. So, like Kelly said, the Biden administration came up with this initiative to use barbershops and beauty salons as vaccine clinics. So, you know, we didn't want to just do one, you know, because you think about, you know, a person come in, get their first shot. If that clinic is no longer there, then they may have to search for another place.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they may, I'm not going to get the second one. So we decided to take on a longitudinal approach and just have the shop set up as a clinic ongoing every single Friday and Saturday. And so that's what we've been doing now since July 9th of 2021.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I, even from my perspective, it's really wonderful to hear that you've got this walk-in clinic that you can just show up to. Because to get my booster, I was trying to walk into a business I better not name on TV, but they're fine. They're a reputable business. It's just you couldn't get in, you know? And having this additional option right in the community makes a huge difference. So I applaud you for working it and for keeping it open. But I feel as though was there a business motivation for you as well to keep it open, or was there something else that was motivating you? Because you had to dedicate a part of your business space, right?
So there wasn't a business motivation. For me, it's just more of, so let me say this. When I think about the barbershop, like I was, kind of talking about earlier, I think of it as a place where people should be able to come to and get resources. So if we can make connections, with the organization. A lot of times these big, huge organizations, we think that they have the money, the power, the reach, and all those things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they do, but a lot of times what they're missing is they don't have a relationship with the community. Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we serve, I kind of see us as a bridge between the organizations that want to offer resources and, the community. So we can kind of bridge that divide and help people get access to, the things that are needed. So it wasn't really like a business move for me. It was more so just me just thinking about I'm more transformational than transactional.
Okay.
I mean,
that's beautiful.
I definitely have to make money. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. I'm a businessman. But, I want to offer more to my customers and the community at large than just a place to come in and get a haircut.
That's fantastic. Now, Kelly, similar question on motivation. I know that you and other healthcare workers are busy, in all caps, right now. I know any minute now you're going to have to get up and go, probably.
Right. You know what?
But what keeps you motivated? What motivated you and motivates you every weekend to go and staff this clinic?
So, most nurses are born to do this. It's a part of our blood, and so we're always looking for how we can make it better.
Yeah.
And utilizing our skill set. And so for me, it was important that I not only provide access for African American nurses to be able to be a part of the solution.
True.
But to also impact the people in the community, because there are a lot of things and challenges and barriers. People didn't want it. People didn't trust the vaccine. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to be tested. They were, there were just so many questions. And we knew that we would be an impact because we are trusted.
Yes.
So as trusted messengers, we positioned ourselves. So we collaborated with the Stair Step Foundation, and the Stair Step Foundation is faith-based. So we're talking over 28 churches. So we hit it. So where the churches were?
Yes.
They set up the clinic. We showed up full force.
Okay.
And we started testing initially, and it was winter and it was cold and we were outside and it was just, there's nothing like cold sanitizer, we're just doing all this. But that also led into vaccinations. But more importantly, the community. They needed to have the conversation.
Yeah.
People continue to say, people of color, not just African Americans, people of color don't want, to be tested or don't want the vaccine. No, they want to understand. And they don't want anything shoved upon them.
Yep.
And so for us, it was not just showing up. And I tell people now, numbers are good, but conversation is better, because if I feel comfortable in what I'm doing, then I can tell others.
Yeah. That's, you know, I don't think I've ever mentioned on air, my grandmother is a nurse, and and a woman of faith, and she has a lot of that same energy. You know, something needs to be done, particularly when it comes to taking care of people.
That's right.
She organizes. She'll organize the whole community, and everyone will be on the same page.
Yes.
And there's that trust there to where people will fall in line.
That's right.
And, you know, they'll disagree, have conversations, but, you know, you don't even get to have the conversation if there's no trust.
That's right.
Now, I'm loving this conversation. I am a little low, so we're going to take the quickest coffee break in the history of Bottomless Coffee, and then we'll be right back. We are back with Kelly Robinson of Black Nurses Rock and Teto Wilson of Wilson's Image, Barbers and Stylists. We've been talking about how they work together on a COVID-19 vaccination clinic in the parking lot of Wilson's Image. Now, we started talking about what you've accomplished, but I'm a big proponent of sharing stories so that other people can learn from your success. So, like, how did this collaboration really get started? And I think, Kelly, we're going to go to you first.
Well, Dr. McKinney and I met during a session that
Is Dr. McKinney the one who showed up at?
Yes,
okay.
yes. He's like the spearhead as the physician.
I need to talk to Dr. McKinney. Dr. McKinney is busy. Go ahead.
That he is. He's an occupational physician with the University of Minnesota. I think it's Health Partners as well.
Okay.
And so Dr. McKinney and I met during a conversation I was having with the Minnesota Association of African American Physicians. Okay. Because I was pulling on them, you know, as I started to delve a little deeper, because not only did I become a business owner to create that access for the nurses, I also became a provider of the vaccine in the state of Minnesota.
It's doing it all.
Yes.
Are there any other hats you'd like to wear?
Got a lot of hat boxes.
Yes.
So I collaborated with them for quite a few different things. And then when I approached that challenge, I needed to have a medical physician to co-sign on a lot of what I was doing, you know, because when you run a clinic, you have to have orders, you know, just like any other process.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sean Enever is a part of the, we call it MAPS, M-A-A-P, Minnesota Association of African Americans.
Sure.
Yeah, so he's a part of MAPS. And Dr. McKinney and Dr. Nathan Chomelo,
yes.
who's head of the diversity for the Minnesota Department of Health. Equity.
Vaccine equity.
Equity, yes, yes. So, you know, those guys just rallied behind me.
Wonderful.
And I was so honored, you know? And so we started to have conversations. Yeah. And then as I went through what the qualifications and requirements were for being a provider, Dr. Enever stepped right in there. And he's retired, and so he's like, yeah, you know, I can help out. And he's been phenomenal. So
now this was a national program, but it's successful at your shop, Teto. So can you tell me a little bit about why you think it was successful with you? Is it your entrepreneurial mindset, your community spirit? Is it your staff? Like, what's the secret sauce that you bring that's enabling this success?
So I think a major part of why, you know, we've been able to sustain this clinic, and, you know, not just sustain it, but have, you know, people just coming, you know what I mean? People that have gone from, no, I'm not getting the vaccine to, yes, I'm getting the vaccine, and now they're bringing in their family and friends. You know, we've built relationships over the years. People have come to, one, trust us, and they expect, you know, for me to be part of something. My coworkers, you know what I mean? I put those guys through a lot. They always know that it's going to be somebody different. We're either going to have cameras, news cameras in the shop. We're going to have the doctors and nurses in the shop. We're going to have politicians in the shop. So, you know, we've just kind of built that up over the years. You know what I mean? You know, our roots literally are deep and widespread. And people trust me. You know what I mean? And over time, you know, you kind of build up a certain level of power, not to be used recklessly. You know what I mean? A certain level of power that people can trust you and, you know, believe in what you say. So, you know, sometimes I've told people, hey, you need to get a vaccine. And they just said, okay, you know, come in like, nope, not getting a vaccine. And yes, got to get a vaccine. So it's just, you know, showing up constantly, every day. People know for sure that Wilson's Image is going to be there. And then, you know, like I said, so we've done over the years, we used to do this thing called Clipper Clinics. It started back in 2011, where, you know, a bunch of healthcare agencies, you know, got together and rent out the barbershop for like 4 hours. And they do a series of like the blood pressure, cholesterol, BMI, I think STDs, STIs. You know, so if people kind of see what we've been doing over the years.
Yeah, you're painting a picture for me. Yeah. For sure, I'm going to have to get over there and take a look, especially if everyone's used to cameras.
So I just think you know, just having that trust over the years, you know what I mean? And like I said, you know, the scholarships being part of it, and just the different things that we do on an ongoing basis. You know, I think that's what's helped us become, you know, be successful with this vaccination drive.
Yeah. And I think I also read a little bit about barbers being especially trusted in our community as well. Do you find that to be true, or is that just something I read on the internet?
Barbers can definitely be trusted. I think you have to be consistent. You know, you have to consistently show up. And people, you know, like I said, you gain a level of power, and it's how you yield that power that makes the difference. So it's not just because you're a barber, you know what I mean? It's how you treat people, you know what I mean? Can people rely on you? Can people come and confide in you? You know what I mean? We hear about things that, you know, sometimes husband and wives don't, you know, share with each other, you know what I mean? But they share with their barbers. So it's like, can I trust this? Can I trust you with this information? You know what I mean? If I come and tell you something, then the whole town knows about it. It's like, I can't trust you. So, you know, you have to show yourself trustworthy.
Well, speaking of trust and the intersection with the healthcare community, there is, you know, we know there is a history of distrust in healthcare with regard to Black people. And I think you disrupt that distrust with your presence, Kelly. Because I mean, look at you. You're trustworthy. I will tell you whatever secret you want. Like, we won't. I would just fight it all spilling out, I suspect. Is that something that you are conscious of when you are in the clinical environment? And is it something that you've been able to leverage in order to help this COVID vaccine campaign be more successful, but also just be more successful in helping out African American people in particular?
Yes.
That was a long question.
That was a lot. I got you, though. So, you know, for us, it starts with trust. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, when we sit down, and even though my nurses have been trained all over the country, because we're all like transplants from somewhere else.
Sure.
You know? And so I'm a Georgia trained nurse.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm from South Carolina.
Big audience
but I'm
in Georgia.
Grady. So
really? Thank you, Grady.
Yes. And so, you know, for me, there was a standard. Before I graduated, I already had the job. You know, thank you, Clayton State University. You know, so it comes with that reputation. And I think that for me, it was 27 years of collaborating on so many different levels, understanding from a behavioral perspective what it takes to reach people, and conveying that to the nurses under a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, they're scared, Number
Everybody's scared,
one,
yeah.
they are just totally afraid, but they know that we're going to tell them the truth.
Yes.
So they come to us for answers. We didn't have a lot, but we shared what we knew at the time. And
I do trust that. Yeah.
it's like, there's one of two things. COVID is killing,
Yep.
And you risk dying.
Yep.
And if you're okay with that, then okay, and it's not that blunt. It's more of a conversation because people will come and say, these are true stories.
Mm-hmm.
The father of my daughter died last week.
Yeah.
And I was hesitant until now. We could say, oops, let's go ahead and vaccinate you, but no, we needed to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because this person has been impacted and now has a testimony.
Yeah.
And so that, and I tell you countless other stories, took it to another dimension in terms of how we communicated.
Yeah.
And so trust goes a long way because you see them twice. Now we're seeing them a third time. We didn't know back then, that we were going to have this consistent, reaction. So when they see, they go, oh yeah, you did my first vaccine, and that kind of, and then they bring others, and Stair Step has been wonderful. They not only provided the incentive through the Minnesota Department of Health, they provided a referral incentive. So out of their philanthropic pot, they paid people to bring others. And even if they came and just had the conversation and didn't get vaccinated the first time, they'd come back, and they'd say, yeah, I was here with my cousin last week and I thought about it. And just tons of stories. But the key to what is important with Wilson's Image is same place.
Mm-hmm.
Same place, same time, same day.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew where to come. They didn't have to search.
Yeah.
And that's made a difference. I've had people say, oh, I was on my way to Hy-Vee, one of the local grocery stores.
Yeah.
And I passed the bus. And I said, on the way back, I'm going to stop.
They knew they needed to do it.
Yeah. And, I think it's one particular guy, because I tell real stories, honey. You don't have time for fake stories. I got a million of them. But he came in and he said, it's my daughter's birthday. Mm-hmm. And they've been bugging me about it. And when I passed the bus, I said on my way back, I'm going to come and get my vaccine. And he did.
Oh, there you go.
And he did. Presence, visual, just being there.
I have to thank you both for sharing this message of trust and consistency, and the hard truth about having to put resources behind these stories and this testimony so that we can reach more of our people and let them know that they need to get vaccinated and boosted. It might take more times than we'd like, but it'll keep us safe.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to get a picture of that bus or something to make sure we put it on the screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we're going to take one. We are back with Teto Wilson and Wilson Image, Barbers and Stylists, and Kelly Robinson of Black Nurses Rock. We've been talking about how they were able to leverage community trust to build a successful vaccination clinic. Now, in our last couple of minutes, Kelly, we'll start with you. What is one message that you want to make sure that our audience at home takes back with them?
We're in the midst of a surge right now. And I think that people need to know that we can actually fix this.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
We can fix this. But it takes all of us. It really does.
Yeah.
People are concerned with breakthrough and all of that. If they think of it like the flu and the vaccine as protection, every year you get the flu shot. Mm-hmm. Protection, that's pretty much what this is.
Yeah.
And people have made it out to be something else, but it's protection. As long as I have the booster, then I'm protected for a period of time.
Right.
And then I'll need to get boosted again, because I'm going to get exposed at some point in time. But when I do, I'm protected.
I love that. That's crucial. Teto, you got a final message?
Yeah. So, earlier I spoke about, me and the guys at the barbershop, when Dr. Zeke walked in, we, at that point weren't taking it as serious. We didn't know anyone that had, gotten sick. We didn't know anybody had passed away. But, fast forward now, a year and a half, I just had my auntie died last week from COVID, 70 years old, unvaccinated. She passed away. And another good guy from this community here, Mr. Mel Reeves, passed away from COVID last week. Same day. Both, they both died on the same day. So if people at this point don't think that this is real, I don't know what else, is going to make them realize, one, that this is real, and two, it is your absolute duty to make sure that you're protected, and particularly so if you have children also, make sure they're protected. So people, just get your vaccines. This is not a hoax. If you choose not to get vaccinated, you've pretty much chosen whatever happened. You've chosen to get.
You're taking your life in your own hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just get a vaccine.
100%. And I think, and I do want to make sure there's no miscommunication because of confusion with the guidance. People might be hearing, oh, it's just like a cold, it's just like a flu. If you are vaccinated, then the mild case is like the cold or like the flu. If you are unvaccinated, then to Tito's point, you are taking a major risk with your life.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, if you want a vaccinated barber, let's say, I want to make sure that you both get a chance to promote your businesses and your organizations. Teto, the floor is yours. Where do they need to go?
You want to come get a vaccination, come get a haircut, come have conversations with Nurse Kelly and the doctors come in. We're located at we actually just bought the building, 2126 West Broadway Avenue. We were before for 8.5 years at 2124.5, so literally right next door.
Nice.
2126 West Broadway Avenue, North, Minneapolis, 55411.
Congratulations on buying that building.
Thank you so much.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
And then Kelly, would you like to promote either Messianic Care or Black Nurses Rock while you're here?
Yes, actually both.
Oh,
so
yes.
Messianic Care has been promoted in so many different arenas, whether it's in the high schools, the elementary schools, community centers, the Urban League, all the African American churches. You can find us in any of those places. You can go to the Minnesota Department of Health community site for vaccines, and that will tell you the latest location, along with all of our other peers. But you can specifically look for Messianic Care and Black Nurses Rock. But Black Nurses Rock is a foundation of secured, trusted, professional nurses. And it is so important to us to be able to give back.
Yes.
And we started out scrambling for 8 members. This is Minnesota, so we had to find our Black nurses, So here we are, standing strong with 72 members.
Well done.
Yeah. And we're all in healthcare, so we're working either on the job, spending our extra time at the vaccine clinics, but we are here.
Yes.
Okay? We are here. Black Nurses Rock, Twin Cities chapter.
You two have the best energy. Thank you both so much for being here.
Yes.
Really greatly appreciated that you're here and the work that you're doing in the community. Really phenomenal.
Thanks.
Oh, we got a cheers. Cheers.
Bottomless coffee.
Bottomless coffee. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time.